Welcome to the Traditional Way podcast, brought to you by the Martial Arts Center Network. I'm your host, Brett Shumway. Please continue to support our network on social media and on our website at www.mainternetwork.com. Additionally, our shows are a great source of all things going on in the martial arts community, from traditional to open circuits and film. Our network strives to bring you all the up-to-date information going on within our community and around the martial arts. I want to start this show up by wishing all my American viewers a happy Juneteenth to all that celebrate, and I hope that you enjoy the holiday. On this show, we will be celebrating the 2024 grand winners from the Premier League season. For those not familiar with this honor, the Premier League is quite simply the best of the best within the WKF. Each season generally is made up of 4 events where the top competitors from around the world come to test themselves against the best in their division. The WKF ensures that the Premier League stays the top circuit within their organization by reserving the top spot or the spots available to the top 32 ranked competitors. So those that are on the Premier League have to earn their way onto it. You can't simply just show up and compete. Other than the World Championships, these are the elite events for the organization. Now, just because it's reserved for the top 32 athletes doesn't mean that the lower ranks do not get a chance to compete on the Premier League. If more of the top athletes decide not to show up, then the lower ranked competitors have the opportunity to compete. This does happen often and on a regular basis, and it gives those the opportunity to move up in the rankings, as they will always put 32 in the round robin format. What is about in a nutshell is the honor becoming the grand winner, right? The Premier League determines the grand winner by overall points obtained throughout the annual season. This is the second highest honor within the WKF to be a grand winner, and the athletes are granted the right to wear the gold embroidery on their uniforms for the next season. Only grand winners and current world champions have the right to wear that gold embroidery on their uniforms. So if you happen to be out on the open circuit and you see a gold embroidered uniform like Arawaza, Takedo, Sharedo, etc., know that they're emulating an honor that they have not earned. And I hope more in the future do not continue to copy it, as it's a great honor within the traditional scene. I personally believe this isn't being done intentionally. I think that they are simply copying what they are seeing, and it is out of not understanding what that gold means that they are doing it. I do, however, hope that it does stop on the open circuit, but only time will tell, and I hope it's something that stays reserved strictly for those who earn it. So let's take a look at those who have earned that honor for the upcoming season. This division had some intrigue this year, as the reigning grand winner Yorgalis Salazar had to miss an event due to injury. Heavily favored and being in the final of the 3 events she did enter, missing the one event was enough to knock her out of the top spot. This year, reigning world champion and world number 2 ranked Modir Jangerbey would earn the top spot. She was able to collect a gold, 2 silvers, and a bronze in the 4 events and continued to hold her top ranking within the division. Although she already earned her gold uniform by being the current world champion, she ensures that she'll be the only one wearing the gold for the 2025 season in this division. As previously noted during this year, reigning 3-time grand winner Angelica Toluga did not perform to her standard this year, and in fact she dropped out of the Premier League after the 2nd event. This year's honors went to Valentina Toro Meneses of Chile. What's more impressive is that she's only entered 3 events this season. However, with the top-ranking athletes like Mia Baich, Maria Stoli, and Bella Shemasheva not having great showings in the league this year, Valentina's 2 golds and bronze medals were more than enough to guarantee her being the grand winner for the year. The division is interesting once again, as the reigning grand winner regains her title by only winning a single event. Reem Kamis regains the honor of being the most consistent competitor in the division. In fact, this year was her first Premier League gold medal she has ever won. She has once again become the grand winner due to her constantly standing on the podium at the most of the events. The current world number 1 started off the season rough with a 7th place, but then gained 2 bronzes to match her gold and ensure that she retains the grand winner status for another season. This division looked like we were going to crown a new grand winner, as reigning grand winner Elena Quercy had an up and down year this year, as she started off the year with a 5th place finish and also had an early exit in Cairo. However, she did squeeze out 2 golds this season, and that was enough to ensure that she regained the grand winner status, bringing this to a total of 3 that she has earned in her illustrious career. Although she does have some young athletes starting to make their move in the division, she has cemented herself as the one that they will all have to go through if they want to win this division. This year had a surprising end as the one who won more events fell out of the top position. Even though Joanna Kinnear has won 2 events, where she was eliminated in the other two did not allow her enough points to win the top spot this year. That goes to Maria Torres Garcia, who even though she only won 1 gold, she made 3 finals this year, making her the most consistent competitor in the division. The gold and 2 silvers were enough to narrowly beat out Kinnear and claim her first grand winner. The current world number 1 has been the most active in the division and continues to stand on podiums more times than not. Her consistency is what earns her most of her accolades. With last year's grand winner Hikaru Ono retired, female kata came down to Kiri Mishima, Grace Lau, and Maho Ono, and the winner would come down to who won the most golds. These 3 all topped the podium throughout the season, but it was Maho Ono who took 2 to the others' 1. She would become the grand winner for this season for the first time. Her 2 golds, a silver and a bronze, were more than enough to top the division and move herself up into the top 5 world rankings, setting up for a new rivalry between her and Grace Lau, ensuring yet again another Ono versus Lau rivalry in female kata. This time it will be Maho, not Hikaru, but I feel the intensity of the competition will be the same as it was between the other 2 moving forward. The results of this division came down to the wire as 2 athletes tied in the points in the conclusion of the season. Hiromu Hashimoto and Abdullah Shaban tied in the point standings, and the grand winner had to be decided by the WKF rules governing this instance. With both athletes having the same amount of gold medals this season with 1, the tie was broken by the amount of silvers won, where Hashimoto's 2 this season earns him his 2nd consecutive grand winner status. Those 3 medals were all that was needed for him to regain the honor, and the world number 2 will be the one to beat next season in a very heavily contested division. The current world number 1, Abdel Almasafa, had the best shot of winning this year. However, he opted to only do 2 events, so his 2 golds this season were all for naught. When you don't show up, you don't acquire any points. So the world number 2, Syed Obaya, did attend all the events, so his 2 golds this season, plus the silver he obtained against Almasafa, was more than enough to secure his first grand winner title of his young career, and sets up a great rivalry between the world number 1 and number 2 athletes in this division for the next couple of years, as they are both still very young. This division was the first one of the season that was completely dominated by one athlete. The current world number 1 and reigning world champion, Abdallah Abdelaziz, utterly destroyed this division this season, capturing all 4 golds that were available this year. Each event added to his current 7-event gold medal streak, allowing the young athlete to add to an already impressive medal count within both the Premier League and the WKF as a whole. We are all waiting to see both when his streak will end and who will be the one to uncrown him, as he is the favorite to win in this division every time he enters an event. This division was a back and forth amongst the world number 1 and number 2 this year, with Yusuf Badawi and Mohammed Al-Jafari both winning a gold and a silver against each other. However, it was the other 2 events that secured the grand winner for Badawi, the first of his career. He was able to also secure a bronze and a 5th place at the other 2 events, which gave him enough points to take the top honors in the division. I expect that these 2 will be a fight that goes both ways for a while now in the division, but for now it's Badawi that has the top spot. Last year's grand winner Rizvan Talibov came in a distant second in this year's standings, as the world number 1 took the top honors by making every final this year. However, not in the way that you would think. Taha Tariq Mahmoud won the first event, and that would be the only gold he would have for the season. He obtained 3 silvers in the other events, and his consistency would grant him top honors, adding to Egypt's total for the year of grand winners. This country is quickly becoming a force to be reckoned with, as they now have the grand winner titles to match their world championships and continental titles in fighting, and they have amassed quite a lot of them in the recent year. In the only other division that had a clean sweep this year, Kakuro Nishiyama continues his dominance in the male kata division. Having only lost 4 total matches within the past 2 years, it is no surprise that he would secure his 3rd consecutive grand winner. As anyone who's followed the Premier League, he was one of the first to secure his status after the 3rd event, and the only athlete that was so far ahead of everyone else in the division. He didn't even need to show up for Casablanca. But he did anyway to ensure to make it certain that he was a top athlete in this division, and the only besmirch on his record currently is the fact that he didn't win the world championships. I'm sure that that's what's fueling him on his run that he is currently on going into next year to finally win the world title. And that concludes the 2024 Karate One Premier League season. I would like to note that this year's season ended way earlier than anyone expected, and I hope that this year is an anomaly and does not become the norm. As we saw in some instances, injury took a top contender out, and with the season being so short as far as timeline, this is something that affected the outcome. I understand that with the introduction of the Team World Championships, that the schedule would change somewhat, but for it all to be over with in May is something that really needs to change, particularly from a spectator perspective, right? I think that they can work in the Series A Youth League and the Premier League to work without having to jam one of them into a 5-month window. We will all have to wait and see. I want to thank all of you for joining me for another episode of The Traditional Way, and I hope that you all continue to support this show and the rest of the Martial Arts Internet Network. Until next time, guys.